talked to them last fall, they were gonna, this winter, go through a program to,
Well, that's not a winter machine. They tried to make it believe it was, but it's not. It's a weather machine. As far as myself, it's a glorified hot patch machine that requires a few less people to operate. As far as any work different than the hot patch and doing it by hand like we have been, there's no difference.
You know, I guess
It's basically almost chipping and sealing, and you're just putting a tar down and throwing the stone down by hand.
If you don't roll it down, it's
machine
not
to put them
gonna
up.
stick there either.
Excuse me?
I said, excuse me, if it's not rolled down too, press it into the, you
That
know,
helps.
it helps,
Usually
yeah.
what we've been doing is the person in the chase vehicle behind has been rolling the stone in as we go along. That seems to be working a lot better than it did when we first started out with.
maybe what we would be better to do is ask Mr. Black to come down. We offered to come down to one of our meetings and discuss some of this with us. Maybe have him come to our June meeting and we could ask for some options.
Jason is kind of the project manager, and he took Bob Lewis's place.
Well, Black said they would both come.
Well, if I may add, that new asphalt that they're making now, it has a lot less big stone in it, so it don't create as many air voids in it. And it's just a whole lot better than what we've been doing in the past, from what I've seen, what we did last fall. And as far as Horton Road, I know Mark says he don't think he's seen any change in it in 3 years. Well, I can pull patch on that road, and trust me, I've seen a lot of change in that road in the last 3 to 4 years.
Going to pieces.
Yeah, and it's just not Horton Road, it's all the roads in the township. I mean, they're going way faster than what money's available to fix them. I mean, that's
The
just the way
problem
it
is
is.
though, you just chip and seal, if you don't, if you got them pockets, you just, the water's going in, and it's just throwing your money down the drain, I look at it that way.
Yeah, I mean, personally, if you're gonna spend money on chip and seal, I'd rather see a chip and seal road like Lower Road from Weston to Yankee, because that road's still in good shape, and if you chip and seal it now, you're gonna gain another 7 to 10 years out of that road. And if you wait too long, you're gonna have the same problems you have with some of the other roads that weren't chip and sealed. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's
Just like this
preventive
fence
maintenance.
highway.
Some of these roads are further past than a chip and seal. A chip and seal's not gonna help them much, they're still gonna bust up. But personally, I'd rather see some of this money go towards a road that's still in good shape, chip and seal that, and you're getting a lot more life out of it. Some of these roads are past that.
I think Horton is, especially that.
Yeah.
mile in front of
I mean, yeah, we can go down there and hot patch it, dirt patch it, all you want. This winter, this spring we had, the weather was just right where it thawed up to 65, 70 degrees. Everything thawed, water got down in, and there's 3 or 4 nights it got back down into the teens. Boom, popped them off. I've seen good roads really got bad.
Yeah, look at Beamer, for example, boy, that was.
Yeah, that one really popped this year. A lot of good roads all over the whole county really got bad. It's just spring we have, it's just one of those things. Next year it might not be that bad, don't know.
I'd say the motion that I put out to support. I guess I will move that we ask Mr. Blatt and Operations Manager to come to our June meeting to review some of our options on
Well,
some of these roads.
I'll support it. I think that, I'd like to see some recommendations.
And, yes, this is Norm was saying, you know, maybe they can give us a list of some of these roads that they think would justify.
Critical and what needs to be done.
They give you a list.
Well, we got a new foreman in our area, which some of you are aware of, and he's still learning the area now. So, you know, he's been out and about quite a bit looking at what he probably feels needs to be done.
To answer your question, why there was only 2,
Yeah.
is the fact that we only had $150,000 to spend. And so, being the shape that Horton Road was in, I picked that as one. I even mentioned I was going to get bid for it, plus the lower highway down on the south end that Mark worked with me at last year. We passed off because we had enough money to do that last year.
But we seem to be doing Horton Road all the time. We're throwing money at Horton Road all the time. Where these other roads,
Well-
like Pence needs to be seal coated.
Well, I know,
To
and
keep
so is
it
New
in
Route
good
eventually
shape.
too. And, you know, they're all gonna need
Well, do
lower
one
too.
big project, like Pence
Well,
or
it's-
whatever. Not throw all
I mean, you
this
can't
money
let-
here, there, and
You can't let Horton go too long, you're gonna end up completely rebuilding the thing, just like you explained. I mean, I had the foreman out, we drove and looked at these roads, and I don't know what you're gonna do. You know, you only have so much money to spend, so.
Do you get more than one estimate?
Pardon?
Do you get more than one estimate? You have to go with
Yeah.
a specific?
Basically, because a private contractor cannot compete with the road commission because they'll set the standards, and you can talk to private contractors, they set the standards, and a private contractor can't compete. So, I mean, we did this, I wasn't on the board, but they did Tenth Highway here, these 2 miles, quite a few years back. So anyway, that's where we're at.
Motion and second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carried. You want me to contact both of them?
Yeah, yeah. if you would.
Next, we have the church
Jim?
demolition, excuse me, go ahead.
Just a comment. I live down on Mulberry between Hodges and Pence. I'm home all the time, basically 85 to 90% of the time. I've seen the road commission come by our property 3 different times, cold patching on Mulberry Road. They've missed probably 50% of what it was because every day they went by, it was raining. And they didn't get half the holes filled. I traveled between my house and Treat mostly. This down in here is getting bad again. You know, I would think that if they're gonna come out and patch, I know they don't, you know, a rain day is a down day probably for most of the time for them. But I would think that if they're gonna cold patch, they would utilize a day that they could visually see the impact of what the road is. Not because it's filled with water, because out of that spot, you got water standing on the road because there's no drainage across it. Because both sides are higher than what the road is. So consequently, it creates that problem.
It's-
It creates that problem.
Right.
But the point being is, I mean, they spent 3 days going down that road and they didn't get half of it done.
Well, back to that again, to your response, that's a primary, common primary.
Well, it's a primary road and they were down there patching it. What I'm saying to you is, I mean, don't you pay to have that road patched? Doesn't that come out?
That's their responsibility.
No?
No.
Well, you need to bring it to somebody's attention, whether it's primary or secondary. It's not getting what you're getting paid for, you know?
You need to go to the board
You
meeting,
gotta go to the board to do
at the
that.
road commission, and they have twice.
Well, if they're here next month, I bet you $5 I'll let them know about it.
I have no control over that, okay?
Well, you can have some input into it, I believe.
You know, I can't tell them.
As a township official, I think you can bring it to their
I can bring it
attention.
to their attention.
That's all I'm asking you to do, Jim. Don't go overboard and be a hero, just do, you know, what you can.
Okay. All right, we're gonna move on then to new business. Oh, wait a minute, you got one church demolition, I missed that.
Little report on.
Yeah, well, we got everything, you know, as you know, our environmental survey, we had that done, and then the environmental came in, took out the asbestos. That was in basically around where the furnace room was. He found a little where the furnace was. 2, took that out, took out duct tape around the duct work, so that was all done. That was $1,100 for that work. And then Stan Wilson got in there, and as soon as that was done, he had to wait until that was completed, and he came in and what was it, about 3.5, 4 days, he was done with the project. So we got sand over it now, and the church is going, so.
There's grass seed over too. He's got grass seed down.
We got a little problem there, you know what it is.
But I don't see where it's a problem.
Well, there was something removed there that wasn't in the contract, and that was those hitching posts, which was a heritage thing, and several people said to me that they didn't want those removed.
And I think that's
And
a
I
board
was-
decision.
It is, to remove them, yeah, but you went and ordered it to be removed.
Well,
You told
that's
Stan to take
partially
them out.
my fault, though, because I talked to Mark, and I said, you know, if he is there, I had no idea that there was any value to those hitching posts. If he's there, everything within the fence and those trees should be taken out as a demolition and disposed of.
That wasn't in the,
Well, what are we creating there, a monument or a place to
Well-
bury? I thought it was a burial area.
Yeah, Mark, but people said that was a heritage thing, they wanted those left there, they weren't hurting anything.
I do have a question.
Why?
There's a section of fence down too, do you know what happened?
There was a
It's not
stump,
down?
there was a stump that, he dug that stump out on the other side.
Yeah,
Yeah, there was a stump that
so
he
that ruined
removed.
that piece of
Yeah,
property.
he pulled
I
that
saw
out,
it all.
so I'm guessing that that it was right there.
I don't
Yeah,
see
I'd just
where,
like to see them put back.
I don't see where galvanized pipe, well pipe, has any significant value at that cemetery. All it was well casing with a T on top.
But that was, they used to hitch their horses there.
Well,
But they weren't
should,
Well, we
they should have.
we all
Point is-
used to have horses
Point
and
is,
things.
before they were removed, the policy is you should have called me or brought it back to the board before they were removed.
You
That's
ordered
the
me to
point.
take care of that project, and I did. Now, this is ridiculous. It's getting to the point of it's getting ridiculous. That lot was cleaned, I took care of the project over there, and now we got holes with concrete around there.
Well, there was nothing said earlier that there was any value. What's the discussion? That's
But
what
that was
should have
beyond the
been
scope
brought
of the
up.
project. You should have called. I have a cell phone. Between you two, you should have called me. Because people had contacted me and said they did not want those removed because that's a
What
heritage thing.
people? I wanna know what people. What people?
Hoarders, for one thing.
Well, if they wanted them, why did they take them
Well,
at the time of
the
the church?
point is, if it would have been brought back to the board, we could have discussed this thing, and that was the policy. Before you do anything above and beyond with the contract, you need to bring it back to the board. So I'm gonna make a motion.
contract to clean that to a spot that is gonna be developed for burial. And you
I'm
can't
gonna-
develop for burial with those sitting there.
I'm gonna make a motion that. we
Well,
put
wait a
the
minute,
post-
I don't think that can be developed for burial.
That's what we had
Well,
talked about.
you've got a drive coming up through there, it's not gonna be all burial.
Both sides of that. Just like the rest. I tell you what I envision taking up that new fence we had on the west side, and going clear on across. Every driveway have the little brick pillars with the balls on top, but every one of the drives across there and make it look like something. It's our cemetery. It isn't gonna look any good with some well
Well-
casing sitting back there.
That, where the fence is, where the driveway is, and that's why I kept the old fence. And I don't know if I talked to you about this, but there's a person that does blacksmith work in the township, would say he was willing to build some kind of an arch over the top of that driveway, if you choose to do so. That was all to be brought up for discussion. I'm gonna make a motion that we put the posts back the way they were. And that's between you and Mr. Wilson, how it gets put back. I got a motion on the floor.
I'm not putting any posts back, I'll tell you that
Yes,
straight
do
out.
I have support?
Well, I heard this point, you know, people from the church, I'm happy with that, I thought.
That should have been brought when we were originally talking about taking the church down. That's when it should have been.
Well, yes, but then again, before they were removed, it wasn't in the contract, is what I'm saying. You should have brought it back to the board before they were removed.
Were there shrubs in the contract? Was there shrubs in the contract? Was the septic tank in the contract? He developed the area.